Hey, welcome to 10-3. This is more uses of substitution. The idea here is that we can have other types of problems where we might use substitution to solve a system of linear equations, some of which you've tried to solve different ways, so you may find this to be a better technique. Let's go ahead and take a look at our first example here. Okay, example 1. A college vocal group needs to raise money for an upcoming trip, so the students decide to sell CDs and t-shirts at their next performance. The shirts sell for $8 each and the CDs for $12 each. By the end of the night, they know that they sold 35 items and that they have raised $360. However, they forgot to keep track of how many of each item they sold. Use a system of equations to find out. This is a pretty classic system problem. You're going to see it frequently where you have quantities and value or dollar amounts. So the quantities here, I'm going to use C for CDs and T for t-shirts. So I have my total number of CDs plus my total number of t-shirts equals the quantity, which is 35. It's 35 total items sold. The total value was, for each CD, it's $12 per CD, so that's 12 times the number of CDs sold, plus for each t-shirt, that's $8 times T, or $8 times the number of t-shirts sold, and that equals $360. This is our system of linear equations. Let's solve by substitution. I think I'll solve for t, make this a function of c, and I will get that t equals 35 minus c. Now I substitute this into the second equation. $12 times c plus $8. $8 times my substitution for t, which is 35 minus c, and that equals $360. I'm going to end up with a couple of values here, so I get 12c plus 8 times 35 minus 8 times c. 8 times 35, that's plus $280 minus 8c. That's equal to 360 still. Combine like terms, and I'm going to subtract 280 from both sides. 8 from 12 is 4. So that is $4 per CD times, or 4 times C. And 360 minus 280 equals $80. I'm going to divide both sides by 4. 4 goes into 4 one time. I'm left with C. 4 goes into 80 20 times. I have 20 CDs purchased. To find my number of t-shirts, I now know that the t-shirts is equal to 35 minus 20. So number of t-shirts sold is equal to 15. I now have my values for my numbers and quantity for both the t-shirts and CDs. That's one example. Let's look at another. In this next example, it said find an equation of the line that passes through the points 4, 1 and negative 6, 6. Now you've done this before when we were learning about slope. You found the slope, you did a calculation to find b, and then from there you had an equation. Well, we're going to set up a system of linear equations to do this, and we know that y1 equals mx plus b. Well, that's 4 times m plus b. That's the first equation. The second one is 6 equals a negative 6 times m plus b. We now have our system of equations. Let's do a substitution. I'm going to solve for b, So I'm going to do this substitution, y minus 4m equals b. Given that value, I put it into the other equation. 6 equals a negative 6 times m plus b, which is 1 minus 4m. I subtract 1 from both sides of the equation and combine like terms. 1 from 6 is 5. Combining like terms, a negative 6 plus a negative 4m is a negative 10m. I now divide both sides by a negative 10, and I find that I have a negative 1/2 is equal to m, the slope of the line. I substitute this back in to find out if it will, what the value of b is, and I have 1 minus 4 times a negative 1/2 equals b. A negative negative is a positive. 2 goes into 4 2 times. 1 plus 2 equals 3, which equals b. So I get for my equation that y equals a negative 1/2 times x plus b. I have solved for the equation for a line through 2 points using a system of linear equations. Next up is a guided example. This is on page 596 in your textbook. Just thought we could walk through this one together. So you can read the setup, but it comes down to we want to create two equations. We're going to let x be the number of acres at $20 per acre, and y will be the number of acres at $30 an acre. So the $20 per acre acres is x, plus the $30 per acre acres is y, and x plus y equals 100 acres total. And we know the total cost was $2,400. So the x times the $20 per acre, so the number of acres purchased at that price, plus 30 times the number of acres purchased at that price is equal to the total price. We now have a system. We're going to substitute. First equation is equivalent to y equals 100 minus x. So we're going to substitute that into this equation. And that's 100 minus x. Use the distributive property. So we get 3,000 minus 30x. Collect like terms, and so 20x minus 30x would be minus 10x. We add a negative 3,000 to both sides, and we have a negative 550 is equal to 10x. A negative 10x, excuse me. So x equals 55 when we divide both sides by a negative 10. We substitute back in, find out y is 45. We now have our answer at 4530. We can substitute this back into one of the equations to verify that it works. It checks, and we have completed this problem. Similar in scope to the previous one, the T-shirt CD problem. You have a quantity of something, and you have a value statement that's related to the quantity. That allows you to create the quantity equation and the value equation, and then use that as your system. Okay, one more. This asks you to use a CAS to solve this problem. If you don't have a CAS, when you see a problem like this, just solve it by hand. Just show me how it works. If you can get access to one, great. Come and see me. You could borrow mine. Just bring it back when you're done, okay? Okay, I've got my calculator up. We want to go into Calculate, and then from Calculate, we're going to want to get into the CAS functions. So we're going to go to Menu. And within Menu, I have a number of different choices. The one I want is Algebra. And in algebra, I'm going to go down here to number 7, solve a system of linear equations. And then within that, I got solve a system of equations and solve system of linear equations. I want linear equations. I have 2 of them. Their variables are x and y. Click OK. Now I need to fill in the equations. It can be in the form, however it's presented in the problem. So I can just write it as is. 5 times x minus 2 times y. That equals a negative 41. Okay, I've got the first one. Now I'm going to swing down to the next equation. I'm going to put in negative 4 times x plus 3 times y, and that equals 37. I've got my 2 equations in there. I think I did it right. And I'm solving for x, y, hit enter, and it gives me a solution. So my linear equations solve to be negative 7 and 3. So that's making use of the CAS to solve a system of linear equations. Good luck on the mastery quiz. See you in class. Have a great day.